Morning. Just pulled up the anchor. We're gonna be sailing out of Booth Bay today, but I'm gonna stop by the fuel dock and get some more water, and I'll just top off my fuel too. I haven't used much lately, but the motor is running good now. It's pumping a lot of water. We're gonna sail up to Vinyl Haven this afternoon. The wind looks like a little light, but I'll pick up overnight, so it might be an overnight sail. Should be fun. There's lobster boats everywhere.
I'm splicing the anchor rod for my stern anchor right here.
So it's barely any wind. It's a pretty big swell too. So we're not really moving. I just turned off the motor to drift for a little bit. I do have the sails up, so I mean we're going maybe half a knot. But I'm gonna make some food just because see if after I make this. I'm gonna make some seared tuna, and I got this instant rice stuff. I've never tried it. I didn't know this existed, but it's kind of hard to cook rice in the jet boil because it's so hot. So this only takes 5 minutes. I'm pretty stoked about that. Let's give it a try. Instant rice worked pretty good. I think I'm gonna start using this from now on. No wind all day. Pretty sunset though. I think maybe this evening I'll pick up a little bit when we get a sail. The other sailing YouTube channel, Downeast, is in Maine somewhere around here, so maybe we'll run into them. They seem to be pretty popular on the YouTubes. We had some wind for a while, but it's gone away. The swell is pretty uncomfortable right now. We are coming up on Vinyl Haven, and I think I'm gonna anchor over here. Hurricane Island. I believe there's some moorings back there I can grab. Pretty cool area, and nice and rocky. You got some wind turbines over there. Lobster Trap City around here. They're just everywhere. I try to be a little careful with them when I'm running the motor so I don't tangle up the prop. Can't wait to get out the dinghy and explore some of these spots. Looks like there's one other sailboat moored over there. Right, I'm gonna go for that mooring right up there in front of us. Looks like there's a little dock, maybe we can tie the dinghy up. I just grabbed the mooring. It was pretty easy because it had this nice orange pennant thing on it. I'm gonna blow up the dinghy and go to shore. I wish my boat would sit normally on the mooring. It just doesn't like to though. It was a nice row ashore. The outboard is having trouble again. I only had it working for one day, and then it got caught in the fishing line, and now it makes a really awful noise whenever I run it. Feels good to be on solid ground for a few minutes. I think looks like the wind's gonna pick up tomorrow afternoon. So then I'll sail on to the next anchorage. Such a cool view. This is a super awesome trail. It's kind of like spooky forest, but in the ocean, just right over here.
like walking on this moss. Feels nice.
It's a pretty cool old crane, I guess, for loading stuff on and off boats here. Whoa, that's awesome. It's like a giant steam generator. I think there's like a camp here. Looks like a little rock climbing wall. Pretty neat. Well, the tide's gone so far down. Surprised the currents aren't stronger around here with all the tide changes. There's Pickle. Had a great night moored here by Hurricane Island. The wind's supposed to pick up about 2 p.m. so there's a little breeze now, but I'm just gonna kind of motor sail around Haven, and I will maybe stop somewhere and just for a little bit until about 1 or 2, and then I'll head on over to Acadia. I want to check out that area too. So I'm about to get moving. Just anchored at this little nameless island, and I'm just gonna row ashore and walk around for a little bit more and then head on my way. Mainsail up. Just squeezing in between these two rocks here. And I think we'll go up to Acadia. Maybe you can do some hiking. I feel like my legs are starting to atrophy. Once you get out past these little islands, it starts to get a little bit colder pretty quickly. Gotta watch out for lobster traps for a little bit. Finally, some nice sailing conditions. They're really nice, maybe 12 knots of wind, and we're just going along at 4 knots. Really good. What I'm gonna do is to keep these doors from slamming around when they're open, I was just tying them up with a knot, but I think I'm gonna use this little cleat. What's this? Jam cleat. So I can maybe mount that there so I can hold them up. And there you have it. So to close the door, you just take it out of the cleat, and then to lock it open, pull it down like that, and so that won't swing around in the seaway. And I just buy these by like the dozen. You get them from China. They're like 1/10 the price of the marine store. Like things like jam cleats, pad eyes, snap shackles, those sorts of things. Way cheaper. And I just have a bunch of them on hand for projects like this. You never know. I mean, this maybe cost $1 or $2. If anybody knows of a good lock, though, I'm really having trouble finding one. This is the Sea Dog lock. I've used it on my last 2 boats, but it just rusts and it doesn't really hold up in the sea conditions. So let me know if you know a better one. So we've covered about 30 miles today. I'm going to anchor behind this island. There's a little bay. Ultimately, tomorrow we're going to try to head up to Acadia National Park over there. And that should be some good, maybe hiking, maybe a little backpacking trip. We can fit it in. It's been a nice day of downwind sailing. About halfway through, I was able to put out the whisker pole, and we've just been cruising along at just around 4 knots. It's kind of tricky seeing where I'm going, coming into the sunset. A lot of glare off the water. I think I see one more sailboat in there. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty hard getting a dinghy to shore here, but I'm up for the challenge today because this is the best dinghy I've ever had. Here's our anchorage. We're sharing it with one other boat over there. Sharing it with one other boat over there. This doesn't look too hard to get ashore. Just gonna row over there. Pretty well protected in here. I just landed the dinghy. It was not too hard, except for these rocks are really slippery. They're pretty cool though. They're like super round and smooth granite. They're really neat. I tied the dinghy up with its anchor and another line up there. I think it's gonna be cold tonight. I really don't want to have to swim all the way back to the boat. Although it's not too far, I could do it if I needed to. Nice little hiking trails. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna head back. Found these two fenders. I think I have the tool to blow this one back up. So they're pretty beat up, but they're nice polyform fender buoy things. So sweet, good find. Made it back to the Pickle Herring. I decided to spend one more day on this island because it seems like a pretty cool spot to explore. A lot of people advocate for getting the biggest dinghy as you can get on your boat, but I mean, this thing I can pick up with one hand and pull up these rocks here, and with a aluminum rib with aluminum floor, like there's no way you could do that. Maybe you could just drag it up on the rocks, but I don't think most people would want to do that. There's a little harbor on this side of the island, fishing lobster boats and stuff. We're back underway again. I did a 5-mile hike on the island. It was pretty nice. It's pretty nice trails along there. Here's my new fender collection. I got 3 new fenders to go along with my other 2. I recommend getting really big fenders because if you ever have to tie up against a really gnarly, seawall in some rough conditions, those tiny little fenders a lot of people have just aren't going to cut it. I like to have a couple of these ball type ones. These are the Polyform A3s, and then also a couple of these long ones that you can go either horizontal or vertical. I found Taylor and Polyform seem to make the best fenders, but let me know your opinions in the comments. I've had some really bad luck with cheap fenders. They just have melted in the sun. It's pretty frustrating, and it gets all slimy and gunks up your boat and everything. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll sail up to Desert Island and do some exploring around Acadia National Park. I'm currently in North Carolina. I found a little workshop I think I'm gonna try to buy, and we can do some boat projects there and work on getting my surgery taken care of. Special thanks to everybody who's contributed to the channel. I'll see you guys next time.